Hello, and welcome to another scene set in the living world of darkness, New York by night. As we begin our scene once again at the same office that Miss Daniels has visited before. Sam is sitting at that same desk, ready for a similar meeting, with his same bottle of whiskey, or same glass rather, different bottle. It's the only substantial difference in the room. And yes, we home in on Miss Daniels and Mr. Spillane. I mean, he can afford to be an alcoholic, let's be real here. uh, unless it's in your blood supply, he don't care. We home in on Miss Daniels as she once again approaches the same building and is shown up to the same room via the same stairway. And she knocks on the door and is let in by Mr. Spillane.
And she'll open the door and she'll let herself in, closing the door behind her. And she'll walk up next to the chair where she sat in the last time, and she'll greet Spillane. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. How's the night been?
A lot of plotting.
Sam, when he hears a lot of plotting, Sam almost gives, he kind of looks at you as if, oh, you dear sweet summer child. Shakes his head ruefully and opens a seat on the opposite side of the desk for you.
And Kate will, of course, be so polite to sit down. So, you wanted to discuss something with me?
Hey, I've had a chat with Gwen, and we've discussed the matter. And she will be willing to help you in your task. However, there's a couple of caveats we have to work out beforehand.
Kate will arch her eyebrow.
Miss O'Connor and myself currently have a great deal of sway in our current areas. The agreement so far has been promised that you would be able to provide Miss O'Connor with media contacts from your acquired target, and me with political information that is relevant to our plight in the city and is also not redundant. The question has been fairly raised: what would happen if you could not acquire these things for our clan? Now, of course, if you're unable to, that would be no fault of your own, but it would leave Clan Ventrue, who of course would have put a great deal on the line for your mission and expended many resources on your behalf, rather empty-handed in exchange. Especially considering I'm putting some personal resources of my own into aiding you. As such, if the assets that have been agreed upon can't be delivered, I will unfortunately have to ask that you owe Clan Ventrue a major boon, and myself a major boon, if you cannot acquire these assets. This is as insurance, of course, in case the spoils of war cannot be acquired as has been promised. If these spoils are delivered upon and, are acquired and delivered to the clan, then of course no boon is required. It is simply a matter of reassurance.
Kate will sit straight in her chair and she'll look at Spillane. As far as I can see, how it now stands is that unless we get intel from Miss Elizabeth, we won't pursue Negan, which in its turn would mean that we won't need your help or any of the creative allies you promised to us, which will negate the major boon we would be owing you.
Until you decide to go after Negan when you have the intel. From what I can see, if the attack is merely being delayed because of a lack of information. Once the information is acquired, I assume plans to assault this individual will continue as normal.
Yes, but you would no longer be obligated to provide your assistance in what form you have promised to us.
This is true. I suppose it depends on how you decide to assault this figure. If it's been delayed and this has altered your plans, I can understand this.
Which researches are you um, pointing to? I can see the promise of the aid that you would send to us as a cause for your major boon. But why would I owe Clan Ventrue as a whole a major boon?
Because both myself, Miss O'Connor, and Mr. Langwood are all backing you. That means the entirety of Clan Ventrue in the city are backing you on your mission. And are risking their lives to do so.
Miss Gwen can come on her own accord. Our agreement stipulated that she was allowed to join the mission. That would mean if she would feel inclined to do so, that she could have the chance to broaden the contacts that she has right now, and any intel that she would gain during this scouting mission that doesn't solely include Miss Elizabeth is for her and her alone.
I believe, if I'm to quote you correctly in the last meeting, that you said you had to insist her help was required, not merely desired. That is why I had to chat with Miss O'Connor in the first place.
And Kate will nod. But there will always be a plan B.
Sam kind of looks at her as if he's kind of waiting for that to be elaborated upon.
She is not the only one who's fit for the task, but Since I was already going into a venture with you, I thought it would be polite of me to keep it within Clan Ventrue and not seek it somewhere else.
Sam kind of narrows his eyes slightly at Kate when she says Gwen would not be the only one is fit for the task. You get the sense that he doesn't necessarily believe that, although he doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks slightly suspicious upon that statement being made before returning to his normal demeanor. So, in regards to this rather... And he looks slightly irritated. Abrupt, shall we say, change in plans. What is exactly being offered towards my clan for clarification? In exchange for what assistance? Because from what you're saying, you're now telling me our assistance is no longer required or desired?
Let me see, because I wrote it all down. We last agreed upon that we were to share all information with you that would be obtained from interrogating Elizabeth Melson. Scott will be allowed to aid in the fight against Negan and will also be allowed to join the scouting mission. If you yourself were unable to help us fight Negan, you would send partners of your own instead. Gwen would be allowed to join the recon mission, and that when the mission turned out to be a success, credit would be given to, first of all, Clan Gangrel, and specific to Hayden, Clan Bruja, me, and Clan Ventrue. That was what we last agreed upon before you were able to promise Gwen's participation.
I also believe certain tangible assets were also promised to be delivered to Clan Ventrue upon the completion of this task. The media and political contacts that I requested on, well, the political contacts I requested on behalf of myself, and media contacts on behalf of Miss O'Connor.
I lumped that in with all information that would be regained from interrogating Elizabeth. So that would be her contacts as well.
Information is not sufficient. We require tangible assets, not the rumor of their existence.
You mean as in the person?
We need access. We already know that. We already have information that she has contacts among the media and political spheres. That much is obvious by the very nature of what she does.
Yeah. This would insist or suggest that you would get specific names of these contacts, not just vaguely knew their whereabouts.
And there would need to be figures of relevance. On top of this, I believe the political information that was to be shared with me wouldn't even be shared with me personally. It would be shared with the entire bunker, which would negate its value. Because, of course, I could just allow this mission to go forward without my assistance. and I would receive the information anyway. And the information would be of value if it were available to everyone to begin with. There are several problems here that have arisen with the change in plans. And the reason these boons were asked for was because if these assets cannot be provided to the clan, because there is the chance that Miss Elizabeth tragically perishes, or a mission simply takes an unexpected turn. Or it could be down to the simple fact that she is unable to provide you with the information necessary to give oneself access. This leaves my clan without its due. This is why boons were asked as insurance. Or rather, if the assets cannot be provided, then the boons will be owed. For the sake of clarification. This effectively means the assets that could be provided to the clan are interchangeable with these boons, and as such, Clan Ventrue is fairly rewarded for its actions by aiding yourself and the units, and to a greater extent, the Camarilla. The boons are not asked for a malicious purpose, far from it. It's to safeguard my own clan from abuse.
And Kate will nod. If I were to owe a boon to the clan as a whole, who would be able to collect it?
There is a moment of thought. You feel like Sam's sure of what he's saying. He's just trying to find a way to word it. Recognized members of Clan Ventrue from the rank of neonate and above, although only, shall we say, members of Clan Ventrue in good standing from the rank of a neonate and above. Of course, one may possess the rank of neonate and be in poor standing with one's clan, in which case they'll be exempt from this agreement. Which means currently Mr. Langwood is exempt from this agreement. However, Miss O'Connor and myself and the elders above us are able to call in this boon.
When you say that, when you were obviously talking about Scott being on not good standing and kind of putting his nose in the dirt.
He's literally saying, the heavy he literally like made a straight logical connection that Langwood is not in good standing with Clan Ventrue right now, ergo he cannot call in this boon.
You can see Kate kind of make a wince face, like,
Nope.
like, oh, that must have stung.
Oh yeah, no, that was more or less a direct insult. You recognize that last time he was just implying it, now he's just throwing shade, more or less. But he says it in a very matter-of-fact kind of way, like that's not really necessarily meant as an insult, rather than it's just a statement of fact. Other than, yeah, he can't call in this agreement because he's not in good standing with the clan. Well, actually, I'm going to roll Manipulation Subterfuge, because there's more to it than that. But, I mean, if he gets 5 or more successes, you don't need to roll. One, two, three. Only one, two, three successes. You can, in theory, get this.
Let me see my sheet. Wait.
That's a pretty sad roll for an 8 dice roll.
Perception.
Empathy.
Empathy? Ooh, I might just be able to clear it.
If you can get 4 or more successes.
4 successes.
Nice. Okay. So it might also have something to do with the fact that he's kind of that he might like Langwood is kind of blood bonded to someone else, so that favor might be abused by someone outside the clan by using Scott.
Oh.
At least that's the logical connection you can make. You recognize that there's more to it. Largely, it is just insulting Scott, but there's also the safeguard, as in Sam, from what you can tell, is quite politically astute and seems to be astute enough that he is actually safeguarding this boon from being abused, actually, in a way, and also preventing it from being used by a member outside of his clan via proxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit strange. In a way, it's him acting in very poor faith by insulting Scott, but it's also a means of him safeguarding his clan and by extension yourself, which is also acting in very good faith. It's a very paradoxical sort of statement you hear from him.
Kate will say, well, obviously we need to edit our agreement a bit.
Sam kind of opens up his hands as if to say, the ball's in your court, and leans back in his chair. He actually rests his head on a clenched hand, not tightly, of course, on a closed hand, rather, and takes a swig of his whiskey before waiting and waits on your response.
If Gwen when Gwen is going to assist the recon mission, she will be promised media contacts in return. Those contacts will be only known to the interrogator and the ones who are present at the time, and with Miss O'Connor. She now looks at you. If she wants to share them with you, that is up to her. If the contacts cannot be delivered, I will own a boon to her. Not to the clan Ventrue, but to her personally, since it's her. Since she is putting her effort in, and not just the clan Ventrue as a whole. Does that sound fair to you? As far as this now stands.
And where does myself and Mr. Langwood fit into this? I feel there's an omission here.
Kate smiles. I wasn't done yet, but first, see if we agree on this part, and then we can work on.
Sam looks a little bit not confused, as if he's thinking through something that doesn't necessarily make sense to him. He says, I find it slightly strange that you come to me to negotiate a boon of Gwen, or Miss O'Connor, my apologies. My main concern right now is that I don't see why a delay upon the assault on Negan necessarily changes our agreement, rather it just delays the commitment to be made. The commitment is still made. Rather, it's just going to take place at a later date. As I mentioned earlier, when you have the intel to strike out at Negan, you would do so, correct?
If we have enough forces to take him down, yes.
We do. We have established that the parameters of this war have since changed. We have enough forces at this point in time to put the city well back into contention. This is currently an open war. There's a bit of an edge as he says that, as if he's kind of feels like he's stating the obvious.
Kate kind of looks at you with an expressionless face. Negan is not someone who lets himself be taken down that easily.
Apparently his body doubles are. I'm aware that you have ties to this Negan.
In my first 2 years, I've encountered him many times on the streets while fending for myself. And she kind of smiles. Well, I would almost say a bit nostalgic. I would say that is where I learned how to be stealthy. To not be seen by someone who's meaner and bigger than me.
And what makes you believe this Negan is as much of a threat as he is? Sam does actually sound somewhat he doesn't sound necessarily that unconvinced, but you actually remember that at one point the leech said he saw Sam somewhere before. He didn't remember Sam, but that the two have met maybe at least once. And Sam, you can definitely tell that Sam seems to be measuring Negan in relativity to their other kill list threats, their other kill list targets.
Kate responds, "Not being seen does not mean you cannot see. I have seen him many times in action. And he's not someone to be taken lightly. If he was, the unit would have taken him out a long time ago. Don't you think?"
Actually, I do, because you yourself stated that you lack the intel to launch a strike, not that you lack the numbers or strength. In fact, I would wager that Miss Stevenson was a far greater threat. Knowing her much more intimately, and knowing her skill and raw power, she herself actually held station within the Sabbat, despite being in it for less than a year.
Kate seems to be very impressed with that.
Sam just looks neutral. He won't comment on how impressed Kate is by a Sabbat trader.
Like, damn, woman, you've been busy.
Sounds like Nash. You just ate a bitch.
Kate will answer.
I have met several more threatening figures in the Sabbat than this Negan.
And Kate just shakes her head. In regards of lack of intel, we do know where he can be found, but he's not alone around there. So that would mean that we would need a small army for us even to get to him.
Also about Roman packs.
Hmm?
Also about Roman packs. It is their modus operandi.
But I would say it's an unnecessary risk. If there are options that would lead to less casualties.
And what are these options that change your plans so drastically?
We know who he trails. But for us to get to this person, we first need more information.
Remind me, who is this person? That he's trailing, you say. Following.
What should I do? Oh, fuck it. Kate just smirks. God damn it.
Does she just smirk?
No, she's going to answer.
I was gonna say. Sam's like, bruh, please.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. Don't leave me. Tear me apart, Lisa.
No. Kate will answer. Once we have come to an agreement, I will share all my information with you. But for now, since there's no standing agreement and you could back out any second you want, there's no benefit for me to share it with you now. And it's obviously that she does not mean any disrespect, but pure from a business standpoint, there's no point in throwing out information.
That's fair. Sam, however, replies, this is not necessarily to anyone's benefit. I'm a member of the War Council. As such, I'm privy to this information. He's pulling rank.
Yes, he is. God damn it.
The worst part is that he's absolutely correct. He literally has the right to demand this information for nothing.
You twat.
Yes.
Not that Kate says this, just to be clear. But
Sam
you can
frenzy
see
checks.
that. You can see that Kate. Well, how good is your roll? Let me see. What is it? Perception, empathy.
Yeah. What are you rolling?
No, you need to roll for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll roll that. That's a fair amount of dice. There we go. I only get 2 successes.
How many? 2?
Only 2. Yeah. No, I keep rolling a 1, so it kind of negates my successes. So you have a fair shot of concealing yourself. You only need 2 successes.
No, that's fine. You can see that Kate is a bit disappointed that you're pulling rank.
You can tell that Sam
does not give fucks. Yes.
It's not even that he doesn't care. It's that he views this as a matter of like, are you seriously like I mean, it's kind of obvious that the way he views this, he like taking this surprisingly seriously, and seems to like it's kind of like keeping information from your superiors on the battlefield as well, not on the battlefield, but it's like a private not telling his sergeant kind of important information relevant to the war. That's basically how he's viewing it. Not that you necessarily know this, but
In my
he's taking it
defense,
very
it's my
seriously.
mission. In my defense, it's my mission. I'm already using the information.
Too bad. Sam's like, I want it.
Let me touch it. Kate will just sigh and she will sit down. Or, well, at least she was sitting, but she kind of like. She'll just look Spillane in the eyes as she answers. Let me check the name. Oh, yeah. He is on 24/7 call, or beckon call, to Elizabeth.
And his name?
Him, Negan. Negan is on 24/7 call, back on call, to Elizabeth.
Sam thinks on this for a moment. I see. So, if Elizabeth were to be compromised, so would Negan. Correct?
In compromise, you would mean taken out? Or that's an OOC question.
Captured, killed, largely
Well,
irrelevant. Basically, she is removed from the situation, which can be used against Negan, is basically. Yeah, basically, if she were to be killed or captured, that would put Negan in a compromising position. OC.
yes. Okay, back in the scene. Kate answered, yes. If Elizabeth were to be kidnapped, he would be obligated to track her down and to save her.
What makes you believe he wouldn't bring his pack?
Kate looks at him. I never said I expected him not to.
Ah, so I see you attempt to lure him into a trap, yes?
She nods.
Sam, trying to see Sam almost aligning pictures and puzzle pieces inside his head. So, in what way does this alter our original agreement? From my perspective, all it would require would be a reallocation of our forces to the ambush site rather than Negan and his pack's haven. As I believe you are hesitant to assault it because he wasn't alone.
Mm-hmm. And we wouldn't be able to control the situation.
An intriguing suffix. But as I asked before, in what way does this alter our original agreement? I would still be applying my own resources and Scott to this situation.
Kate nods.
It would just be in a different location with a different strategy in place. But the allocation of resources to aid in your endeavor would still be there. And the rewards for Clan Ventrue's backing would still not be guaranteed. Sam looks at you dead in the eye in the silence.
Yeah.
Awaiting an explanation.
I want to keep Spillane as a friend, but right now I'm.
Lol. As it's still it's just good business.
No, it's not.
Lol. I mean, it.
You don't want to own Spillane a boon.
I mean, really? I mean, that's a bit harsh. Sam hasn't abused any boons. This is actually a fact. OC. Jerk.
Okay, no, Kate is now done playing. Don't be angry, Spillane. Kate takes on a neutral expression. God damn it.
Sam's just kind of looking, awaiting explanation. He doesn't appear to be rushing or anything. Just appears to be waiting. Drinks a whiskey. He doesn't.
Kate starts to talk. As I can remember correctly, you had already promised me these things. I do agree that there are, if all missions would be unsuccessful, there would be no gain in it for you. So to that, I would say...
it's not a matter of success. It's a matter of the promised goods being delivered on, so to speak. And in regards to what's been promised, I would remind you that it was you who wanted to alter the agreement upon my stipulation, which has been agreed upon by myself and Miss O'Connor.
What time frame would count for us to deliver those tangible goods? Because you self said a delay of a mission wouldn't alter the arrangement, it would only prolong it.
The delay in regards to the mission will be accounted for. You will be given, and he almost seems to count. Like, you see his kind of eyes almost bubble up and down, kind of like, you know, his head kind of bubbles from side to side, almost as if he's kind of estimating. A week to acquire the information that would give us access to these contacts. Once you have captured Miss Elizabeth, this tax should be remedied substantially with those advanced in the arts of presence and dominate, which I'm sure you have many among your number which you can use to accomplish such a feat.
She just nods, snort, a slight nod.
This is why the time constraints are fairly short, as, well, we have ways to cut corners. Of course, we do account for the fact that you have to capture Miss Elizabeth first. And that there has been a delay in this. And on the assault on Negan, of course. But once Miss Elizabeth has been acquiesced, 7 days will be given. I'm slowly losing my Irish accent over the course of the scene. So,
I just had a question in my mind before you said my Irish accent is slipping. God damn it. Oh, yeah, the OOC. Do you want me to physically hand in the person that is the contact, or be like, okay, this is all the background information of the contact, this is their name, this is where they live, go get them?
He wants access to them, so you will not just need the information about them, you will need a means to get the Ventrue access to them. If you cannot provide that, it will be requested that you simply bring them to him, not as per kidnapping. We'll just state this out of character for the sake of clarification. He would, if you cannot give him access, so like you know, he attends this party, so Sam can be like, oh, I can just attend this party now, and then it'll be fine. But if he like, if he can't be accessed normally, because once Sam gets close to him, it's a done deal. But if the information, if there is no way that Sam, like, if the information acquired does not give Sam a means to access this person, it will be requested that you make access. Because information that the clan can't act on, or Sam by extension, is not. It has no leverage in this agreement. It can't be used, so it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't have value, obviously. It is not a commodity that can be used.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be too hard once the person's. This should be something. If you the main issue is finding a contact for Sam. This is what you'd recognize as difficult. Acquiring the access should be a lot easier.
Okay.
With the information should come access. This is why both are being requested, because one should naturally entail the other. Not necessarily true, but 95% odds.
Okay. Kate will look at. You're still here? Or... Oh, you're muted. Okay. Kate looks at Spillane, and she will say, I would like to edit one thing of the agreement you laid out in front of me. I do think that you will be entitled to a major boon, but the clan Ventrue as a whole would be allowed a minor boon, since Scott and Miss O'Connor, Scott Langwood and Miss O'Connor, aren't contributing or aren't going to have a great personal sacrifice.
Contribute to the same extent is perhaps what you are trying to say?
Personal sacrifice.
He nods. I think that is a fair suggestion. So to clarify, and he will, for the sake of not repeating everything, in exchange for Langwood and Miss O'Connor, Miss O'Connor helping with Elizabeth, and Langwood and
Being that bitch.
and the caitiff helping with Negan. Is that correct? So far?
Yes, Miss Gwen O'Connor for the recon mission, and Scott for the recon mission and the snitch and grab. And your caitiff associates will only be needed for the snatch and grab.
And in exchange for this, Sam will be owed a major boon and Clan Ventrue a minor boon. If media contacts and political contacts cannot be secured.
Within a week.
Within a week, and they have to be from the information. Like, they can't just be random political contacts. Sam is specifically asking contacts gained via the interrogation of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Because obviously, it's just random media and stuff contacts. Why even bring her up? So yeah, just clarification. So yeah, so Sam will repeat that. Kate will agree.
Will okay. All other information that aren't the contacts. So the personal information of the contacts that will be held for you, but any other information will be openly shared. So if there's anything that is meant for the War Council, it will be shared with them. And if there are any useful information for future taking out of the Sabbat, it will be shared with the unit or with the other coterie. And when the mission turns out to be successful, the credit will be given to Kate Daniels from Clan Bruja and Hayden Connors from Clan Gangrel.
Sam nods. I believe Clan Ventrue's assistance would also be noted, just for clarification.
Yeah, not as person by person, but Clan Ventrue.
Clan Ventrue as a whole has assisted in the.
Yes.
Yep, that's fine. And if access to these contacts cannot be, if information and access to these contacts cannot be provided, the boons exist as insurance.
Yes.
Yes.
And she'll point to herself. Those boons can only be collected from me, not from any other participant of the mission.
Yes, Sam would absolutely recognize that. This is a negotiation between Kate Daniels and Sam, a representative of Clan Ventrue. In fact, he'd use his full name, Samuel Splain, which might strike you as a little bit odd. It's almost like he's outlining a contract. Like the way he words it is very much how one would word a contract. With all that concluded, Sam will nod. Well then. As then I, Samuel Splain, Ancillary of Clan Ventrue, and yourself, Kate Daniels, a fledgling of Clan Bruja, hereby sanctify this contract between us to be concluded at a later date. Or how rather is is concluded. As of now, the terms to be met at a later date. Um, as outlined as per our former vocal contract. Correct?
Correct.
I worded that all wrong. Sam would word it a lot better. Outlined as in the contract, not the formal contract. Scratch that, retcon that last bit. With that, he will get up and he will shake your hand.
And Kate will stand before she reaches out to shake Spillane's hand.
Thank you.
And Kate will say, "Thank you for your assistance."
It's a pleasure. I'm sorry if this business can be so stressful, although I would warn you, as a fully fledged member of a clan, you should be preparing yourself to inevitably get involved in more of it. Unfortunately, this is our life. As he says that, or as before he says that, as he shakes your hand, you notice he puts his hand under the desk and
Takes out a tape recorder.
he just presses something, but you hear a click that would indicate that. You're not entirely sure. You don't see what he's clicking, but he was obviously pressing something.
Mm-hmm.
You also know that this room is recorded via CCTV anyway. But obviously, normally CCTV doesn't use volume.
Kate will just smile at Spillane and she'll say, "Could you send me a copy as well?"
Of course, you are entitled to one. It is important nowadays in the fragile state of the city to record the ongoing interactions regarding boons, as we have no heartbeat to record one ourselves. Normally, I wouldn't resort to tactics that could be considered shady. In this regard, at least, gives you a bit of a sly smirk. But unfortunately, normal means of using a chancellor or harpy to record boons are not available. So we must revert to, well, I don't dare say old-fashioned methods. Mm-hmm. You have yet to see old-fashioned methods. Pray you never do. But yes. I am glad that we could come to this arrangement. Would you like a quick drink before you go? And he actually pulls out just like a small mini fridge beneath his desk. And actually, there is a blood bag.
Yes!
This is part of his personal supply. And he will pull out a drink for the both of them. So that's 2 blood points away from his supply. But he has, like, let's see, 50s. Did he got like another 8 from... So he's at 15 now, I think. I should be recording this better, but yes. He pours out a drink.
Blood points for days.
For the both of them.
You... roll.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. You can see that Kate is surprised when she reached for the blood and is even more surprised that you pour for the 2 of you, but more in a surprise, like in a humbled way. And when you're done pouring, she'll say thank you.
You're very welcome. I must admit, Miss Daniels, you impress me. You are the first person to negotiate with me as effectively as... Well, the only person who I could say has negotiated with me as effectively since then would be Theodore himself. And, of course, the good Lady Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, I think you can roll again for that one.
Only one.
Mm. You can see a bit of dislike for the person, but not anything that is remotely near to hate or disgust.
It's just kind of, I don't like her. She's kind of a
Well,
bitch.
she almost made someone kill me just because I existed.
Yeah, no, Sam recognizes your past as a caitiff, so he knows that you don't like her.
Well, I have nothing against her, but she doesn't like me, which put my life at danger. So, and with not like me was because I was a caitiff. You're muted. Stop the wank.
Um, with that, uh, Sam will raise a toast once more, but it's time to good business and good friends.
And Kate will, well, not really bump her glass against yours, but she will make the glass cling, and she'll say, well, what will she say? To good business and good friends. And she'll look him in the eyes before she'll take a drink to kind of stipulate that what she's saying isn't just banter.
Sam likewise returns the gesture. You are now one step on to Spillane now. No, I'm not that much of a dick.
Oh my god, you gave me my you gave me a mini heart attack. God damn it. I will so get you back for this one.
Oh, no, Spillane isn't that bad. I'd have to be Humanity 1 to do that.
But Jesus.
Yes. And with that, I think the toast to such good friendships, we can end the scene there.
Yes.
To good friends, good business, and good heart attacks. Thank you, Claire, for playing. Thank you, watchers for watching. See you next time.